Earbuds are useful for their purpose, but they are no substitute for brains.
All right, here we go.
I have to say, well done, Free. Well done. Well played, my adversary. Well played.
Phoenix isn't gay, but if he was, he'd pick FreeMo.
Oh yeah, he'd be living down there with you in the bunker, man. Woo!
Once you go free, you'll always do the Z.
Like one day of not going to Duncan, and you could get a controller, a new Xbox, possibly even a cord.
And now, the two guys that took 2 years to fix their audio problems.
Welcome to BGFG episode. What the hell are we on? Why do I never remember? 484.
484.
I'm your host, Chris.
And
Phoenix.
in reference to 2 years to fix their audio and then some.
Yeah, because still having issues. I'm your host, Chris Phoenix, and joining me, as always, my brother from another mother, Mr. FreeMo. How are you doing this week, sir?
Well, we survived the raging storms of the last 24 hours.
Yeah, what's up with that? Did you guys get, like, hail?
Not where I'm at, but high winds, tornadoes, massive thunderstorms.
Man, that sucks.
Like,
I mean,
one point last night, we sat there and listened and heard the rumbling, of like distant thunder,
yeah.
and it lasted for like 2.5 minutes, just constant, just rumbling.
Oh, that's freaky.
Because there was so much stuff around us and so much lightning going on that was just this constant rumbling.
That's kind of freaky. That is kind of
Yeah.
freaky. I mean,
That's
last time
pretty
we
awesome,
had
but
the good thing up northeast in March is that we do get high winds a lot. And
yeah.
was it last weekend? I think it was. It was last weekend or the weekend before. The wife and I are just sitting in the living room and we were watching chairs going past the window on the porch.
Yeah, we lost a vent cap. I'm gonna have to get that fixed.
Oh, that. Yeah, definitely gotta get that fixed before
Yeah.
the rain gets in there.
Got a hole about like that big, just waiting for rain.
Like the whole thing came off the roof.
Like it separated the top.
Oh, okay.
Like the base is still there, but
that's
the
good.
little the part that's over it that keeps the actual water out,
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah, gotta get on
All
that.
the insulation underneath there is like I'm gonna call the homeowners insurance tomorrow and be like, yeah, y'all are gonna have to do your thing.
Yeah. You know, the homeowner's insurance in your area is gonna be like, please hold.
Yeah.
You are 54th in line.
In the third queue of 1,000.
Okay, so first up this week, we got to say adieu to a man that kind of spurred several of the things that we do. Like me working in telecommunications, this was a big deal when this happened. So not coming down for breakfast this week is Mark Klien. Now, Mark Klien is a former AT&T tech turned whistleblower, and that was back in 2006. He found a room, 641A, that had wiretaps from the NSA monitoring all data traffic. The NSA used the loophole in the powers granted to them after 9/11 to have just basically tapped the entire network for AT&T, incoming and outgoing. They were checking everything. The server
And
name.
those dudes they sent in there, however long it took them, they were in that room for days without leaving. Because they didn't, you don't want to get caught coming and going, right?
Right.
So they went into that room and started splicing fiber.
Yeah, and I can tell everybody that splicing fiber is not a quick job. It is not a quick job. And to do hundreds of I can't even.
Like there is no device that you just plug one into and then like a phone splitter back in the day, you plug it in the phone jack and you can hook two phones up and you're golden. Yeah, there ain't an easy way to do fiber splitting.
No, you have to. They're holes for light to go through, so you either get it reflecting or refracting. It's a big thing. But Mark was the whistleblower that said that they were doing that. I believe this is related to carnivore as well, which was another thing that FreeMo used to try to get us stuck into by using certain words. But thanks to Mark.
Yeah, I was online and I was looking to buy a bomb A deer jacket?
Oh, stop. Uh, but because of Mark, it paved the way for like Snowden. It paved the way for a lot of whistleblowers that realized that I can blow this whistle and not die. Essentially, he just passed away. So golden ticket and towel to you, my friend, and thank you for what you did. That was a big deal.
Yeah, standing up for what's right.
Yep, not many people do that anymore. Let's get into this week's news.
BGFG News. You heard it here third.
Oh, give me a second. Let me take a drink first before I say this opening line. Okay. Much as I hate to admit this, FreeMo was right again. Microsoft has now co-authored a paper using generative AI that using generative AI makes you dumber. Now, FreeMo said this before, and I think this story, the reason why this is the top story this week is because I thought this shit was so funny because Microsoft is co-authoring the paper. Like, you're pushing Copilot down everybody's throat. Yet you co-authored this to say that using it is actually going to make you dumber.
Yep.
It was from Microsoft and Carnegie researchers. Using tech improperly can result in deterioration of cognitive facilities. Now, FreeMo said almost that exact same line. What was it, 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago?
Well, I've been saying it for a long time, but yeah, I recently said that something along those lines. I don't know if I used the word deterioration or cognitive faculties, but yeah,
You did
I
use
said
cognitive.
the same thing.
You said cognitive.
Cognitive decline, maybe?
Yeah, that sounds right. From 319 total workers as AI using an AI tool, their usage went up. Critical thinking went down. This will eventually lead to answers that you get from AI will be assumed to be true when they're actually not.
Yep.
And look at
Welcome to the Matrix.
and look at the not very good lawyers that are out there that use AI. AI often cites cases in courts that never even existed.
Yeah.
Why? Because AI scrapes the bottom of the barrel. It scrapes social media.
Here's an example for you. Do a search for top 10 movie lines that were never said. We all know them. We all quote them, right?
Yeah.
They're part of our popular culture, but they
Right.
never actually existed.
Right. They were
And
said
that's
in a
what
different way.
that's what AI is going to do. Like, play it again, Sam. He never actually said,
Nope.
play it again, Sam.
No.
Now, that's not a big deal, right? It's just a movie line. You're getting it wrong. Popular culture has taken that phrase and it's used, whatever. But we're talking about actual fact here. And AI is going to take fact and truth and turn it into what it wants it to be. And we're all just going to sit back and assume it's okay.
Correct.
It's
100%.
true.
And another thing that you brought up that I thought was interesting was which for some ungodly reason, before you mentioned it, I didn't even realize it about red dye and how it gets into your food and stuff. I didn't even realize that. And now here we are where the FDA's banned red number 3 effective 2027, which we talked about on the show before. I mean, great.
Europe has banned red dye. I'm going to say all red dye, if not all of them.
Yeah, I think it's all red.
The main red dye 3, 6, 40.
40,
Those
yeah.
are definitely, they've been banned in Europe for a while.
Right. And because it doesn't add anything to the taste of the product, it's just coloring. But mostly because it's possibly a carcinogen or trigger hyperactivity.
I'm going to go ahead and put it out there.
But,
autism
possibly.
And ADHD.
Yeah.
Right? Because ADHD was not a thing like in the past. Like, where did it just all of a sudden manifest where everybody needs ADHD medicine?
Oh yeah, a couple of years back. Yeah, a couple of years back, it was a big thing about ADD and what the hell's the other one? It's like below autism. I can't remember what it is, but like every kid was getting diagnosed with it. Every kid. And again, it's a
You know,
lot of, and you can trace this back
you
to,
started seeing a little bit of it at the tail end of Gen X,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
But us older Gen Xers, we didn't have a lot of this ultra processed food growing
no,
up when the brain's developing,
right,
right? You
right,
got a whole generation of kids that are now on anxiety medication and depression medication. Why? What changed?
yeah, yeah. Even
I'm
now, I
blaming it
mean,
on red dye.
PepsiCo is launching Ruffles hot and spicy, which uses natural ingredients like tomato powder and red chili pepper to create that coloring instead of using dyes, which is great. The best part about this article and the reason why I put it back in here was that in 2016, Kraft Heinz Foods removed dyes from their recipes, just didn't tell anybody. Like right around the time the Europe was doing it, they just did it. They removed yellow 5 and yellow 6 from mac and cheese, swapped it with paprika and turmeric, and created that color. Now, there is people, the link in the show notes, you can trace it back in some of the other, where people were saying that they could tell there was a different color and they could tell the taste changed. And I even have to agree. I don't eat macaroni and cheese often, like really rarely. But I do remember when I was a kid, it was like, oh, this is cheesy goodness. And I remember when I had it, and I'm sure it was after 2016. I'm like, this doesn't taste the same anymore.
Yeah.
But that's a figment of your imagination. It's it's just dye. That's all it is.
Well, right. But that just goes to show how the visual
Yes, yes.
affects perception of taste,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Because you can do blind taste tests with people that will sit there and tell you all day long, oh, I can tell the difference between a Coke and a Pepsi or, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And you give them a blind taste test and they're like, I think that's this. I think that's that. And they're wrong.
The brain does weird things. So this is kind of funny the way we can tie this all together. You were talking a few minutes ago about how um, we mishear quotes all the time in movies, and now you have this impression of food, and it looks a different color, so you're not quite sure about it, you know. And it's no different than like I cannot stand Domino's Pizza, but I love their recent commercial. I don't know if you've seen it, but they said they have 2 pizza boxes, and they said this is our new stuffed crust pizza, and this is our old one. So they take a bite of the new pizza, and they're like, "Wow, this is really good. Stuffed crust is great." Then they open up the old box, and there's nothing there, and they're like, "What's up with this?" And the spokesperson behind the mic is like, "Yeah, because Domino's has never had a stuffed crust pizza before now. Everybody thought it was Pizza Hut was the one
Right.
that did that, not Domino's." So I think it's just interesting the way the mind works, interprets things the way you feel comfortable receiving that information.
Yeah.
We say that a lot where I work, where a customer hears what they want to hear. Like, I've got a couple of technicians that I've trained where a thing that you say to a client, you say the same thing every time. You say it 50 times a day, same exact quote or line or paragraph, every single client. So when they come back up to you, oh, you never said that. Yeah, I did. I say the same thing every time. It's like an automatic response from me. So yes, I did say the same thing, but you heard what you wanted to hear. So
Yeah.
looking forward, people, get used to the fact that your food's going to look a little different. Your Skittles might be all beige. Let's get
Taste the rainbow.
rainbow. Ch- Chase the Ford colors, black or gray. So let's get into an AI story instead of a breach story or a hacking story for a change, which is fine by me. We're going to talk about DeepSeek. So, and FreeMo's about to correct me because I butcher names, just what I do. Uh, Liang Wenfeng. Am I good?
Yeah, we'll let that one go. Close
so,
enough.
so this dude, and if you look at the picture in the video, or you click on the link in the show notes, this dude is 40 years old. Looks like he's 17. God bless you. 40 years old.
I think 17's generous, but okay.
He's not accepting money for the DeepSeek AI model. Now, this model has been taking people by storm because it's apparently extremely effective. It's just better than all the other stuff that was out there, and it came out of nowhere. He's not accepting money from venture capitalists. And you might be asking yourself why.
Oh, that's what that is.
But
I thought he was refusing money from the Viet Cong.
that's so,
Douchebag.
that's
Which had me
the ball.
confused because he's in communist China. Why wouldn't you
Oh.
take the Viet Cong money? I mean, they're just trying to give back.
Oh. Okay, so I figured out why he's not taking venture capital money. Number one, China's backing him in the whole DeepSeek, right? Number two, because he's finally getting laid. Number three, the Chinese government is scary and they will kill him. And number four, he gets to swim in his money like Scrooge McDuck. He's just diving right in.
Yeah.
They're making crazy money on that. But yeah, that was the whole reason why I brought this whole story up. It was not just because DeepSeek wasn't accepting money, that I saw the picture of him, and then I was just glancing through the article, and I'm like, 40 years old. This guy looks like he found the fountain of youth. That's what he used DeepSeek for. Where is the fountain of youth?
Yeah.
Looks
No doubt,
extremely
right?
young. And finally, this week in this week's news, and how could we not? Anyone hear about the tanker? Anybody hear about the tanker crash in the North Sea? Let me. You got no words, so let me paint this picture.
I mean, how?
Right, we're gonna get into that in a second. Let me give the deets. So the Portuguese Solong and the U.S. Stena Immaculate crashed, 2 ships. First of all, the Portuguese are seafaring people since the dawn of time, so I don't think they were doing anything wrong. The Solong is a cargo ship, and the Stena is an oil tanker. Now, the Stena was anchored.
Yeah, it wasn't moving.
Not moving. Okay? The captain of the Solong has now been arrested for possible manslaughter because they lost 1 person from the Stena. And the thing is,
I thought they lost 1 person from the Solong.
Oh, really? I thought it was the Stena. The way they worded it was very strange.
The whole article's, yeah,
it's
confusing
weird.
to read the article because they anyway.
So, if you look at the picture in the show notes, or click, the picture in the show notes, the tanker was hit right on the side. So let me paint another picture for you. You're in the North Sea. Have you ever, for those that don't, I have been on these tankers. I've worked at the port here in Rhode Island. They are massive, like no joke. Even a full oil tanker, like down below a lot of the water, is still a very large ship. And if it's empty, forget it. It's just huge. And the cargo containers are just as big. They are massive, massive pieces. Okay.
Yes.
So if you're in the sea, okay, there's no trees, there's no nothing, it's just water. Okay. And a tanker is massive.
It's bigger, it's longer than a football field, right? I mean, and it's multiple, like you said, even fully loaded, it's still 10 stories high.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it was anchored, so it's not moving. Now I can see if you were if you're driving and you're going head on with somebody, and you're like, "Oh my God, are they going to turn right or left? Are they going to turn right or left?" And there's a narrow margin of error. No, this ship was sideways and anchored.
yeah,
You're
this
telling me
was
that you
straight up.
could not see this? It's not like these things are scarab motorboats. They're not exactly lightning.
Yeah,
You know, they just kind of cruise at a nominal speed. So how did you not see this? How?
dude made the captain of the Solong. It says he's 59 years old, but he apparently is still stuck in like middle school.
No.
Yeah, like, okay, Captain, I triple dog dare you. You won't run into that ship. Oh, really? Okay. I mean, there's no rational explanation for why this happened.
There is none. There is none. The only possible good news is that the jet fuel that was in the tanker that the tanker was carrying, has mostly evaporated due to the fire, as opposed to oil or crude oil that'll just sit there in the water. This fuel.
I think I read there was 18. Is it 18 compartments? 16 segregated cargo tanks within the.
Yep.
And they've only confirmed. Now there may be more once they get into it, but only one of those tanks was ruptured.
Yeah.
That they know for a fact, and because it was jet fuel, it was either consumed by the fire or evaporated off ocean.
Right. Right.
Because it is jet fuel.
Right. Which is good.
I mean,
which is the good news. But still, how it happened,
no, I don't know if you want to call it good news. It's silver lining, maybe, but
I just
I just don't understand how in the world.
Yeah. It doesn't
I
make
mean,
any
in the
sense.
Stena, I mean, can you imagine sitting there? You're on that thing, right? You're anchored outside of port, waiting for a slip to open up for you to
Right.
go in and
Right.
offload your cargo. So you're just sitting there. I mean, it's not like you're going to turn and look and go, "Oh, that guy's coming in hot," right? Because
Yeah.
they're not moving fast, right? But at some point, you have to look over and go, "I don't think he's turning." But even so, even if it got to the point where you're like, "He's not slowing down, he's not turning," even if he tries to turn at this point, he's still going to clip us. You're not getting that boat unanchored and moving out of the way.
And not to mention
It does
radios,
not happen that fast.
And not to mention radios. I'm sure the boat that was anchored was calling the other boat, on the two-way. And again, there's going to be a lot to be discovered in this, but
Like literally the best explanation I can come up with, I've already given you. Dude got triple dog dared and he went for it.
Right.
I mean, which makes no sense.
Let's get to this week's music. So this week's music is
dedicated to the crew of the Stena.
From the TikTok fame and my daughter's recommendation. It's Doechii or Doechii. It's weird the way they want it pronounced, but the name of the song is Anxiety. It's about 4 minutes long. It's a good song. It really speaks to a lot of the people that are suffering with mental illnesses right now. So we'll catch you on the other side for some stick style and some more tech news. Yay! Again, if you're struggling with mental illness, it's a tough thing. It is a very tough thing to go through. But, still waiting for FreeMo to get back. There he is. Good track, huh?
It is. It is a good track. I listened to it like 2 times this morning.
Yeah, I like it. So,
well, 3 if you include the one we just did.
Yeah. So if you beginning of our episode after the break, we look at what we're drinking. I'm going with the Modelo Especial.
Nothing's changed here. Still trying to get through this Costco purchase.
Cheers to you, my friend.
And I now know why they're so cheap.
Can't open it?
Finally. No, it's that time of year that as soon as you take something out of the fridge, it immediately gets a sheen of water on it.
Yeah.
From the heat and the humidity.
Yep.
It's here, folks.
Let's get to this week's stick style.
Gaming.
So first up this week, Halo is bringing back Horde. Well, Halo's version of Horde. The latest update to Halo Infinite is called Operation Blue Team, and it's bringing back Firefight Classic, which is a round-based mode, teams of 4. You got 5 waves of enemies with 3 rounds each, making what they call a set. Your team shares a pool of 7 lives. So already, my team's going to hate me. Already. We know this.
If I remember correctly, 4 of those 7 lives are yours, and we each get 1.
Yeah, we've seen this in Helldivers, where I keep dying. You can end a session at the end of each set, and the rest of the team will continue. And if they do continue, then you're going to get additional skulls to add to the fun. And the skulls are like bonus features. for that round. So pretty cool with Halo. And we're all about nostalgia here at Stick Stop, like all about it. When you bring back these things that we all loved. And this month, God of War.
Oh, do I smell what the Phoenix is cooking? I think I know what we might be playing later.
Possibly. God of War turns 20. 20 years God of War has been around. And they have a few things in mind. Unfortunately, it will not be a new game. Instead, they're just going to give you DLC for the latest Ragnarok, which is a good game. It's not a bad game. But you're going to get a lot of DLC harking back to, I believe it was the PlayStation 2 version of God of War. I don't remember which one it was. Maybe God of War 2, where you had a Dark Odyssey appearance. So instead of Kratos being gray.
I just, for the record, have to say,
But
I've never played God of War
you're kidding.
because I banned Sony like
Yeah.
22 years ago.
It's true. It is a great hack and slash, and it's going to be out on the PC. It is a really good game. So the Kratos originally is basically gray. The character is completely gray because it's supposed to be ash with a blood red, like lightning bolt almost, tattooed on his chest. The Dark Odyssey appearance is going to have him be a lot darker, like a dark gray, and then the lightning bolt or whatever the tattoo is going to be gold. It's a really cool look. You're going to get the Dark Odyssey appearance. You're going to get the Dark Odyssey appearance for your companions, which is Atreus and Freya. You're going to get the Dark Odyssey weapon appearance for his shield, Dark Odyssey shield appearance. Well, weapon and shield, I should say. And they're also going to offer a 20th anniversary box set, which has got all the pictures and art for the game. Why are you smirking?
I mean, if that's how they
What?
want to commemorate the 20th anniversary of their only long-running franchise, sure.
Oh no, it gets better. It screams Sony. Okay, so not only does it get better, this is all you get.
Oh, wait. Okay, I just saw something that makes the whole thing worth it.
What?
In addition to the Dark Odyssey Leviathan Axe appearance,
Yeah.
you also get the Dark Odyssey knob attachment.
Yes.
Because who wants to carry the Leviathan axe without the knob on it? I mean,
Well, yes,
seriously.
that's a fact. The thing that look,
Sony.
right, Sony, get your shit together. And here's the kick in the balls of this. Not only is this all they're giving you for 20th anniversary, but the true kick. Wait. The true kick in the balls is that you don't get to just download this content and put it on your character and maybe give you incite you to maybe play it again. No, instead you have to play the game again in God mode, beat the game, and then you get to wear this stuff. Like seriously, it's not a. Sony, you just continue to disappoint. I want to like you, I really do.
I mean, this is literally like the head of Sony one day. Like everybody's been asking him for like 2 years. Hey, 20th of God of War's coming up. What are we going to be doing for this? We'll get to it. And then like 2 days before the anniversary date, he's like, where are we at on the 20th anniversary God of War? Come on, give me something.
Yes, Sony, you can't help but screw yourself every time. Now, along with all the studio closures that we've been talking about, and there is more, games are suddenly closing. And they're like, it used to be that when a game comes out and it's not very good, it would still be around for a while, maybe on the back burner, maybe on Steam, maybe on Game Pass. Like they would put it like a freebie almost, if you will. But now they're just closing games immediately. Like look at Concord. That was out for a month. You gave it a month. Now I remember when I was younger, the old rules for when you're opening up a business is like, look, you got to keep the business open for 5 years to tell whether it succeeds or fails. It takes that much time to kind of create it, put it out there, get your name out there. But when you give it a month, I mean, and the thing that kind of pissed me off about this story is that games are closing that we never even heard of. Like, how are you going to, the example I'll give is, before I tell you the games, the example I'll give is Kingdoms of Amalur, which we've talked on the show numerous times about. Kurt Schilling, the baseball player, started it here in Rhode Island, and the game was doomed to fail. It got zero support. It's a good game. It's still out there. You can still play it. It's a good game. But you couldn't get the studios to back it at all. And then you set it to release the same time as Call of Duty. Like, are you stupid? Like, there's certain games you don't put against it. It's like when Star Wars comes out, a new Star Wars movie. Just don't release your movie.
Well,
Push it
back in
back.
the day. Now, I mean,
It's still a box office, or John Wick. Don't put out something
well,
against
okay,
John Wick.
I'll give you that one.
It's just not going to happen. So now you have a game like Stampede Racing Royale.
Yeah, that'd be like Die Hard 9 trying to be released the same time as the next John Wick movie.
Yeah, no, not going to happen. I love Die Hard, but John Wick. So Stampede Racing Royale, never even heard of. Didn't even know it existed, and it launched on Steam this past October. If I knew this game kind of existed the way it is, I can almost guarantee that we would have played it. 60 players at once, free to play racing. It's in go-karts, and they're look like dumb characters, but just the idea of 60 people all at once is really, and it's closing due to and I quote, a variety of unexpected events. What unexpected events? Put yourself out there. Pay a little bit for advertising. Put it on the front page of Steam. I can guarantee you, if you put it on the front page of Steam, it showed a little clip of 60 people. Like in the video, if you click on the link in the show notes, the video shows like people coming over a jump, and there's just so many of them, and it's a live game.
Yeah,
that you're watching. It isn't like one of their advertisements. So it's like, holy shit, I want to play this game. Like, I want to try it. And a variety of unexpected events. What the hell does that mean? Studio Suma also has a free-to-play shooter called Spectre Divide. They're closing that one too at the end of the month. Like, what the hell?
That one's closing because that entire studio is closing.
Right, but I'm saying the game's out there. This is the same conversation we had with Warner Brothers Games and the Nemesis engine on Shadows of Mordor. It's out there. Let it be out there. Don't, just because your studio closed or you're closing your studio, why? Who knows? It could be a bunch of different reasons why your studio's closing. But to sit there and just don't get it. And there's a third one. I am a gigantic Star Wars fan. Huge Star Wars fan.
Did you see this one?
What?
There's a new shooter called Midnight Murder Club.
Nope. Didn't even hear about that.
And up to 5 people can play it as long as, 6 people can play it as long as one person owns it.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So if one person buys it, then 6, you can get 5 of your friends to jump on and play.
Well, it looks like I'm buying another game. Oh yeah, that doesn't sound like that's going to make a whole lot of money though. You're losing 4 other source revenue streams, The other, like I was saying though, another one that's closing is Star Wars Hunters. And I'm a huge Star Wars fan. That debuted last June on the Switch. The last update will be on April 15th, and then shutting down in October. Like, I don't, when you have a game and it's done, just leave it out there. I can't remember what the term is called, because they're doing it with a lot of games like Rainbow Six and such. But just leave the game out there with the expectation that we're not going to fix it. We're not going to update it. We're not going to do any of that shit. Just leave it out there for people to play. You might get a little bit of a revenue stream on it. Who knows? We've done that before with games where there's a game that's older.
Well,
Tokyo Extreme Racer. I've been playing the shit out of that. It's $30, and it's an older game. And a lot of people don't know about it because it's alpha, and they're not really pushing it a lot. But it's a really good game. Now, who knows?
I've been burning up Paradise City again.
Right, see? Paradise City's another fun one.
But the online servers are shut down, so it's all
single player. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. That's not a big deal. And who knows if they ran out of money or any other interest as to why they're closing. But all of these companies are closing, and it's a strange time for a lot of different things. I was talking with some coworkers as to how all these companies seem to be using the same playbook. Even my daughter, the company that my daughter's working for now, is almost the same playbook that the managers are using and phrases and stuff like that my company's using. So when I look at it, is it just another one of these things where we're in that greed time of society, where the greed is so vast and insatiable that they have to close down these? Oh, well, it didn't work. We gave it 2 weeks. It didn't work. Our player count dropped on Steam by 1,000. It's spring. Like, people are actually going outside. It's springtime. So what the hell? But you got
I don't know, man. It's like everybody wants a Call of Duty or a God of War. Like, if your game doesn't meet those levels, get rid of it.
yeah. Yeah, it has. Yeah, that's strange. And look, you got to give it up for Niantic, though. They sold Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go was huge. All my kids played Pokemon Go at one time or another. They got me to play it one time at the park, and I'm like, I didn't say it to them because they were still young at the time. I'm like, this is dumb. This is some dumb shit. People are gonna get run over by cars, because the park near where we live, I guess, had some big deal with Pokemon because it's an open air park, and we went over there. Me and 3 of the kids went over there, and like, there's people walking around everywhere, like, aimlessly, like, tripping over shit, walking across the little pathway that the cars
See,
can now.
here's how you solve that kind of thing. You go all in with the kids on that. You're like, we're going to go to the park. We're going to find every monster. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to do a grid pattern search, going north to south, and then stepping east, one block at a time. We have to maintain an exact 3-yard distance to make sure we cover every square inch of the park, but we will find every monster. Let's go.
That would be funny. 20 minutes and they're done.
Back in line. Back in line. If you get too far ahead, you can let one slip through.
So Pokemon Go just got sold. They got sold to Scopely, which is the makers of Monopoly Go. They sold
Not
that,
just Pokemon Go, but the entire Niantic entity.
3.5 billion with a B. Yeah, I'm selling 100%. Yeah, it's Pokemon, but yep, I'm selling. They
I
made
could
millions
see
already.
this. Like, how long ago is the Pokemon Go like craze? Like, I mean, it was literally everywhere. It was in commercials. It was,
I want to say 10 years ago.
I could see maybe shortly after that, like after all the hype,
Yeah.
it's selling for that.
Yeah.
When was the last time you even heard about Pokemon Go?
No, not at
And
all.
they're getting 3. I mean, who's still doing it?
No
Why?
idea.
I mean, there's got to be something else that Niantic has.
Yeah. Well, I think
That
because I looked a little deeper into it, because I asked the same question and I cared very little to find the answer, but I did find it rather quickly. Was that it's
the infrastructure.
the geolocation or geofencing information and patent that they have. That's what they wanted.
Yeah.
3.5 billion for it. I don't know. That's a lot. All right. Finally this week is a Microsoft. Oh, how you pain me. Microsoft has decided to throw AI into Xbox. Now, you might remember when Cortana was part of Xbox, which we all thought was funny because Cortana was a character in their main franchise game. But Cortana basically just looked up shit online for you. That's all it was. It was a search engine. But now they're adding Copilot to AI. And they're calling it
I got to tell you, if I can't turn that off,
oh, come on. You're going to stop playing Xbox?
I may become Steam exclusive.
PC Master Race? They're calling it the ultimate sidekick. I don't know if I'm going to go the ultimate sidekick. You can talk to your console and not your friends, I guess. It's going to, quote, help you save time, find new games, or get back into a game you stepped away from. Really? The example they gave was like in Overwatch. It can help pick a new character if the last one didn't work for you. I don't need AI to tell me that I just sucked at this character I played. Because about midway through that match, I went, I got to pick somebody else.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing. This goes back to the original story that we had this week.
Yeah.
About people becoming stupider.
Yeah.
Because of AI.
Yeah. Yep.
It's circular. Oh, I'm going to use AI. You start losing some of your cognitive abilities, your logical problem solving skills, and then the next thing you know, you're sitting down at the end of the day, and you go, uh, "Hey Xbox, what should I do now?"
Look, like I said, I know when a character doesn't work for me. I don't need AI
Well,
to tell me
Jimmy,
how.
have you eaten yet today? Um,
Idiocracy.
I don't think so. Okay. Why don't you go get you some of those black market red dye 40 pizza rolls, stick them in the air fryer, and then come back and we'll get started.
So,
Yeah, idiocracy, man.
yep,
It's
if you don't know
oh,
what exactly we're talking about, go watch Idiocracy, or e- very similar. Go watch uh what the hell was that Disney film with the little yellow robot that was fixing the trash?
Wally.
Wally. Go watch Wally and fast forward about midway.
Wally.
Fast forward till about midway when they show you what society is like at that time.
Yeah.
Because we're heading that way at this point, and it's pretty shitty. I mean, I don't need. I figured out that I had the wrong character, or I have FreeMo and Fatal to tell me. Like it's I don't need AI to do that. And one of the examples I
Well,
just
but
put in.
see, the benefit of AI is it can tell you in a nice way as opposed to me.
You should pick another character. You suck. The example they gave in the picture I put up in the video was somebody's in Minecraft. And they said, "Well, I just picked up wood. What should I do with that?" And then the AI or Copilot kicks in and says, this is what you use to build this is material that you use to build certain structures." I don't. How stupid is the player on Minecraft that doesn't know what to do with wood? Now I can tell you
I
that
mean,
there's
the only way I could see this being beneficial is if you're trying like for the 97th time to beat a boss level.
right, and you want a hint. I can give you another example.
But
Halo One,
I mean, really?
Halo 1 or Halo 2. There's I think it's Halo 1. There's a spot where you have to cross a bridge, go up a flight or something, and then cross another bridge. And the bridges look the same. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten to one end of the bridge and go, am I going the right way? Like I haven't played this game in a day or two. Am I going the right way? That'd be nice. Use AI to ask, oh, am I going the right way? Or a Tokyo Extreme Racer. Have Tokyo Extreme Racer. How do I beat Showa Showa? Is there a quick way? What's the best gearing to beat this particular character? Like you said, the boss fights. What's the best way to beat the boss in this level? That's what you want to do. Oh, look, there's another one. Little grandchild. Little grandkid with his tablet or phone. Nope, it's a phone. Good job, buddy. You're aces. Oh, so funny. All right, let's get into this week's tech news. Huh. I never put pictures in for those. Interesting. Okay, so in the tech news this week, Amazon is all in free, and I am not. I already don't like these speakers that sit around the house listening to everything I say. We've talked about it on the show numerous times. It's awful. We've proven on the show that
Wait a minute, hold on. Did you really just say that?
what
You don't like having all these devices sitting around that listen to everything you say?
the
Would
ones
you
that
say that you're an Apple house?
yes,
You can't complain. You signed up for it.
I just don't like the bigger. Okay, so I understand that my phone is listening for trigger
You're
words.
literally about to ding Amazon for something that Apple's done for years. Go ahead, please.
Oh, well, this segment is actually going to show what a fanboy I am about Apple, honestly, now that you pointed it out. Yeah, Amazon's Echoes uh, are now going to listen constantly, and now an email was sent to their customers. As of March 28th, Echo users will no longer be able to select for their device to keep things local. So one of the cool things Amazon did for a long time was Amazon did things where you could push the slider to local only. So technically, because FreeMo and I proved otherwise, but technically, if you said something to your Echo Show, it would stay locally in the house, like turn on the lights, turn off the lights, search for this, play this music. Your choices would stay local. Now you are not going to have that option. Instead, it's going to record everything and save it to Amazon. Oh, and by the way, if you pick do not save recordings, your voice ID will be bricked. But now my question is it still listening?
Well, of course it's still listening because it's always been listening.
Right. Is it going to continue?
Yeah. Even if you can't use voice commands, it's still listening to everything going on.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. And speaking of listening, here's something I'm excited about. Kinda. Apple's going to be adding live translation to their AirPods. And AirPods will now hear the other language. You're going to have your AirPods in, and your AirPods will hear the other language that somebody else is speaking, translate it live in your ear.
Yeah,
Then
that's already out there.
Hold on, let me finish because you're gonna chuckle at this one. You're gonna enjoy this. Then you can put the response in your iPhone, and it will speak the translated answer to the person you're talking to. This would be very cool to have two people doing this at the same time with two different languages. It's going to be so. Before we get too far with this story, I was all excited about this, and I showed my coworker, who's an Android person, and they listen to me. They look at me like a inquisitive look. They're like, "You do know that Android's been doing this for a while, right?" Like, took all the wind out of my sails. I'm like, well, shit. Yet again, Samsung and Android have been doing it all along. As a fanboy,
But you keep believing that Apple universe is the bestest.
They're going to make it better. You just watch.
Okay.
So all of this features are going to be linked to the iOS 19.
So basically what you're saying is that if someone should happen to walk up speaking ancient Egyptian, you'll be able to understand them.
One would hope.
Thanks, Apple.
They do it better. Oh, this is going to be in iOS 19 now, which, by the way, is going to be a complete overhaul of the operating system. So all of those in the tech field that troubleshoot your IT people, this is going to get real for you real quick because I worked in the industry when we changed in iOS 7. This is going to be a complete overhaul. The pictures that I've seen so far actually look like it's turning into an Android or a Motorola phone with round icons and the way they have them laid out. It's going to be a shit show because every elderly person out there is going to be angry. What happened to my phone?
Here's a FreeMo prediction.
Yeah. Okay.
19.
Yep.
Although they haven't said it, and they probably won't for some time, is AI based.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it sure is. Apple Intelligence. Okay. Not artificial. Apple Intelligence.
Yeah. And this speaks further to the first story.
Yeah.
Apple Intelligence, right?
All right.
Of how relying on artificial intelligence will all make us.
Yeah.
So you've been a member of the Apple universe for a while now, and you got super excited when you heard about your translating AirPods.
I did.
Right?
I did.
Right? Yeah. And it's been a thing for years. But you didn't know because you rely on your Apple universe for
do.
fact.
The ecosystem.
For the illusion of reality.
Right. I don't disagree with you. I don't.
But it's all of humanity is going this route, except for the few of us who would still rather go outside and split wood.
Well, I actually had somebody at my job ask me, they're like, "Oh, you've never been compromised or you never had anything like this?" I'm like, "No." They're like, "Oh, it's because you're a geek." I said, "No, it's not." They said, "Well, why then?" I said, "Because I'm not on social media."
Yeah.
What do you mean? I mean, you click on everything on Facebook. I have 2 clients that come in often that click on every single link. I don't understand why this is happening on my phone. Because you spend your time doom scrolling on Facebook and you click every fucking link. It's just garbage. It's garbage on top of garbage. Even the Onion gave up.
I'm still waiting for the day that AI tells people
Go outside.
to, oh, you're hungry? Where do you live? You're going to have to go to the bunker. It's the only place within 50 miles that has sustainable food.
Finally, this
And when
week.
you get there, help us burn it down. We're trying to eradicate that fool FreeMo.
He's on our most wanted. Have you heard of Bossware by any chance?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Bossware is for those that work from home. It's for your boss to track what you do. I
Oh,
can
not
see.
even those who work from home.
Oh yeah, they do it at work too. Yeah, which we'll get into in a second.
Everywhere.
I can see how that could be helpful because when I worked from home, I got all my work done on time, but I was also able to take out the dog, run to the store, do things like that while on company time because I was getting my work done. It was a different time and it was a different place because I was on a 2-month contract, I think it was. But it was just different. And I have a friend who works from home and they have to have that camera on at all times. All times. And they have to be in front of the camera. Now, that particular friend did figure out how to circumvent that a couple of times where, you take a couple of snapshots or you take a short video and then replay the video for a short time on loop. Because all you do is sitting there typing and then taking a sip of coffee, typing. You can get away with like half an hour or so of doing that.
The classic 80s security camera
Yeah. Double fool.
bypass.
Yeah. And I just wonder what a
And then
great
you realize
job.
the same person has gone to the 3rd floor on the elevator for the last 6 hours.
Yeah, behind them. And I just wonder what a great job that is for somebody to just sit there. Some manager is sitting there all day long with a monitor full of little webcam boxes and looking and monitoring at all of these people. Now, some of these companies are adding AI to the mix.
Yeah.
Which is a problem. They're saying that using AI can track activity patterns. They can see signs of stress, flag unusual behavior, detect policy violations. It's also going to be able to generate reports. And this is going to help your employer lay you off. Really, that's what this is about. I'm seeing it with my company. Micrometrics is what I call it because it's like these you've seen it at your job too. These micrometrics.
I know all the guys on the back end
Yeah.
of technology, like the server, the network,
Yep.
and security and everything else. And I've already told them, I'm like, hey, when y'all implement this, I know it won't be common knowledge, but let me know because the day that y'all start tracking cell phone GPS data is the day that my cell phone sits on my desk and gets forwarded.
100%. 100%. If it's not enough to do a good job anymore with these micrometrics, if you meet all of their metrics, they then use the AI or type of AI or themselves to find something new that's wrong.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Chris, we noticed that when you take your shit, you're taking 7 more minutes than usual. We also noticed that your stool is indicating that you may need to see a doctor soon. Unfortunately, you have no more sick time. But that's the shit that we're getting down to. I just got introduced to a new metric they added to us because a lot of us have been succeeding very much. They added a new metric, and they can't even explain how that metric is derived from. Like,
Really?
Yeah. I was like, well, how do we fix that? I don't know. We have to wait and see what they say. Who's they and what are they going to say? They're going to tell us what that metric does? They're going to tell us how to fix that metric? Like, why did you need another metric? Like, it's not enough that we're doing our jobs the way we're supposed to. Now we have to, good job. You only went to the bathroom twice today. You're leading the pack. If you hit 4 times, if you go to the bathroom 4 times, we're gonna have to have a conversation and put it on paper because you're taking too much time away from your job. There's a point where you have to.
That sounds silly, but yeah, that's where this all is ultimately headed.
It is.
AI, everybody's going to rely on AI so heavily in the reporting from AI. And, you get some dude that's an insomniac, right?
Yeah.
And is up 20 hours a day, every day, doing his job. And that's going to skew the metrics for everything.
Correct. When I worked in the cable company, they had a test done with 4 techs. I think it was 4 technicians to see how long it takes anybody to do a job. Now, we also had areas assigned. So I'm out here where I live, which is like suburbs. You know, you got people that like live way out in the, like your house, like way away from the street, stuff like that. The metrics that they used, and I complained about this in a meeting and literally got sent home for the day. Because I complained about it in the meeting. I said, who came up with these metrics? They're like, well, you know, I said, because they're stupid. What was that? Right in a meeting of like all the techs. I was like, you took a sample of 3 of those 4 people work in the city. They all work with apartment buildings and they all work in lockboxes. Of course, an installation is going to take them 15 minutes. They're not climbing a pole. They're not taking the ladder off their truck. They're not spending 20 minutes trying to get into the house from the street. Like, it's skewed, and you're going to base all this, my workday, on that. So, like, they used to give a 2-hour time frame. You can get 2 jobs done in that 2-hour time frame, roughly, depending on where you're located. But because these guys are doing 3 and 4, they bumped ours up to 3 and 4. I'm like, look, I can't get from this location to this location in a half an hour. It's going to take 45 minutes easily.
Yeah.
And that's a huge chunk of my time right there. Like, your metrics are skewed.
Yeah. Now, if you want to take windshield time out of it, fine.
Right.
Right. Like a job should take you X amount of time. So once you're on site, you have till here to finish it, unless you have a justifiable reason, like, oh, I had to pull a new 300-foot line from the pole of the house.
100%. Yep.
You know,
That's exactly the way it happened too. That's
but
exactly the way it happened.
windshield time cannot be a part of that.
No, they
If
don't
it
want to hear
is,
it, though.
then trust me, I get it. But fortunately, I'm the guy that wrecks the curve at my job. Like they're like, I don't understand how you. Okay, for instance, Windows 10 is no longer supported in October.
Mhm.
Right? So they've got this big push now to get everybody on 11 and 24H2. And my question to them was, have we tested any of this? Because if you're trying to bring somebody from Windows 10 22H2 to Windows 11 24H2, you're going to run into some problems.
Oh yeah, number one problem for you that I predict,
Well,
SMB.
how do you know? Yeah.
I mean, if you can't reach your network server, I'm having the same problem in my job. The latest, and now you're starting to see computers rolling out that already have the latest update. So I can't even back end it. Like, it's just, it doesn't work. No answer from anybody.
But they're like, well, we need to get on this. I'm like, okay, no problem. So I did roughly 35, 36% of all my computers this week.
Yeah.
So Monday we're going to go in there and they're going to be like, yeah, I got 6 computers done. Oh, good job. I'll be like, yeah, I'm a third of the way done. Like, what? Because I already did some testing on what do you have to do instead of just going out and clicking upgrade in our Tanium client. And Tanium sitting there looking at it going, oh, okay, so we got to do this. We got to try and do this. We got to do this.
Yeah.
And the users they can't see any of the behind the scenes stuff. So they're like, okay, I'm going home for the day, reboot instead of leaving their computer running, which wrecks it. Right. Yep. So what am I doing? I'm going out there and saying, okay, I'm going to send an email to this group of people because you don't need to ignore the email they sent you.
Yep.
Do this today, do this tomorrow, and then run the update.
Yeah.
So people are like, okay, that's easy enough. I'll follow that. You know, if you run into any problems, call me. Of course, there's always those machines that crap out and you got to fix them manually, whatever. But yeah, so totally wrecking the curve. Everybody's going to hate me again.
Nothing new for you.
Oh, yeah. They're like, we really want to see all these done by the end of August, so we have September to clean up any issues. And I'm like, end of August? Great. I'll be done mid-April.
All right. I don't have anything else. That's it for the stories this week. Do you have anything else?
There was one thing. I don't recall what it is now. I was going to put the link in the show notes yesterday, and I just forgot to do it. I don't know. It'll come to me. Maybe I'll put it out there for next week.
Sounds good. All right, that's it for this week. Tense down, show's over.
Hey, are you ready for it?
Yes.
Whoop whoop.
So you can find more of this garbage at bgfgonline.com. You can also send us an email with your questions or suggestions at bgfgshow@gmail.com. Find our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Overcast, Podcast, Castro, Castbox, Podchaser, and YouTube. Thank you for listening.